The holidays are over and it's time to get back to your normal, boring lives. But what if you're in the market for a new phone and you don't want to wait for the Galaxy S8 or any newer phone coming out later in the year, and you want to buy a phone right now? Well, no matter what your budget is, if your budget is $50, if your budget is $950, I have a phone for you. These are my best choices for the best phones you can buy at any budget. Now, I am only going off new prices and not used prices, as those change depending on the seller. If you're ready like I'm ready, hang on to your butts, boys and girls. We're about to buy some phones. To start everything off, we are going all the way down to $50. And this right here is the blue R1 HD. Now, this phone was on the list last time around, but for $50, you still cannot go wrong. It comes in a nice filling polycarbonate shell surrounded by a metal frame. The buttons for volume and power are also metallic, and it gives a nice tactile feel, making for a solid build. Up front, you have a 5-inch IPS display with a pixel density of 294. And in terms of hardware, you get a 1.3 gigahertz MediaTek quad-core processor and a Mali T720 GPU. You can get 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabyte of RAM. The 1 gigabyte variant is $50, and for $10 more, you get 2 gigabytes. You also have 16 gigabytes of onboard storage and is expandable too with a micro SD card. With Android 6.0 out of the box, the software should perform very well with basic tasks. But do keep in mind that you will probably see a couple Amazon ads on your lock screen, but you can just swipe those away. Although the battery is pretty small at 2500 milliamp, you still get over a day of usage. Now, it doesn't have Qualcomm quick charge or dash charging, but you do get a full battery in about 2 hours due to the small size of the battery. It also has a pretty decent camera too. You have an 8 megapixel primary and a 5 megapixel secondary camera. The only drawback is you need some decent light to get some good images, but for $50, can we really complain about the camera? Moving up the list for less than $100, you have the Moto G Play. It sports a plastic body with a faux metal trim, and it really isn't an amazing looking phone. It's pretty basic, but it does have this grippy texture and it has a small form factor, and that is appealing to a lot of people. Even though the 5-inch display is only rated at HD resolution, it rivals Full HD panels when it comes to brightness because it has 545 nits, so using it outdoors would be no problem at all. While the Snapdragon 401 quad-core processor isn't the fastest thing and the Adreno 306 GPU isn't the newest, it does manage to run daily tasks well on Android 6.0 and Nougat when it does get an update. The occasional glitch here and there is present because of the speeds, and also don't expect to play any high-end games as it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM. The 2800 milliamp battery is pretty large for a phone this small, and you do get amazing battery life, but the charging speeds are slow. It's one of those things that you have to charge overnight. It does have micro SD card support too, which is pretty nice. Now, it does have an 8 megapixel camera, and it's really a bad camera. So even if you do have micro SD card support, I don't think you'll be storing many pictures with it, to be honest. I think for $100, this is the best you can get right now. And the only complaint that I really have for this phone is that it doesn't have a fingerprint sensor to unlock the phone. It just has that dimple on the back. Now at $200, this is where things get pretty serious. Previously, the OnePlus X sold for under $300, and since then, you can find it for as little as $199 new. It was in my list of smartphones for the summer, and it's still a very good option at this price. You do get the slightly dated Snapdragon 801 processor and 3 gigabytes of RAM, but performance is not an issue at all. Now, you do feel a little bit of lag when you start playing some newer games because it does have the Adreno 306, but that's about it. The 13 megapixel camera on the back and the 8 on the front takes the best images and videos at this price. But the 5-inch 1080p display might be a bit small for a lot of people to consume multimedia, and also with the really bad speakers. Also, there's no fingerprint scanner, which is disappointing for a lot of people, including myself. And also, the 2525 milliamp battery might not be enough to get through a full day of heavy use, but for under $200, this is a huge step up from the previous mention. Now, this one right here, I sort of struggle with. This is a $300 mark, and this right here is pretty much a dead zone. I'm gonna let you tell me what you'll get for under $300, but here's what I came up with. You know, I think spending a little bit of extra cash to go into the next category would be best. Or you can opt to go back to the $200 range and then have $100 extra bucks for accessories and things like that. Now, outside the US, there are good phones out there like the M15, but importing those, you'll be paying more than $300, which sort of beats the purpose. So if you're in the United States, I'd recommend saving an extra $100 or going down and then having an extra $100 for accessories. Or if you're out of the country, then the M15 would be a pretty decent choice. For under $400, this is where the Honor 8 shows up. The Honor 8 is an amazing phone, and I did a review for it, and you can check the review out by clicking on the card up top or down below in the description. The full HD display is not only vibrant, but at 2.5 inches, it makes handling the device much easier. With 4 GB of RAM and the Kirin 950 processor, the UI is very responsive, and the phone handles pretty much anything you throw at it without breaking a sweat. The dual 12 megapixel camera is also capable of capturing some amazing shots, and the little nifty software features that Huawei has thrown in does definitely enhance the experience. As I mentioned before, the full review is listed down below, and I think it's the best unknown Android phone for America. I can go on and on about this phone, but I do urge you to check the review out as I really cover this phone in about a 10-minute video. From the unknown to one of the best known, we're talking about the OnePlus 3. And just like how the S variants are to Apple, the T variant is to the OnePlus. The OnePlus 3 2 is definitely my pick for the best smartphone under $500. In a nutshell, it's the OnePlus 3 with a beefier 3400 milliamp battery, a very slightly faster processor, and a better selfie camera. Slap on the darker gray and bam, the OnePlus 3T is born. The 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED display is great for contrasty colors, and with 6 GB of RAM, you should have no problem at all multitasking. It runs Oxygen OS and is consistently updated to provide the best experience at its price, or any price above really. The only reason you want to get a flagship phone would be for a better camera, but performance on this device is unmatched, and I really mean that. Now up front, you do have that 16 megapixel camera, and that is an amazing upgrade, and it looks actually really good. And the back 16 megapixel camera does fall short. The images just fall apart in darker environments, and it just gets really, really blurry. But when we get into this price range, a couple more things actually happen for us, and this is really important. Number one, accessories. There are more accessories at this price point than any other price point. And the reason for that, these are more popular phones. So you can grab yourself a case, you can go to Amazon and buy the case that you want for this device, and you're not on eBay going through these little cheap plastic cases. You can get some good cases. And also, you can get a D-brand skin for your device, especially devices that are a little bit more expensive. And when you get a D-brand skin, what's nice about that is like you have a new phone. You can slap the skin on, you can make it look different, you can customize it, make it your own. And also when you're tired of it, you take the skin off, put another one back on. So it's really nice to have that. And also, more expensive phones, they have these premium materials, they have these glasses and they have these metals, but what happens with that is that they become slippery. D-brand actually gives you a little bit of texture too. So hit my link down below and D-brand your device. So let's talk about the best of the best, cream of the crop. You got the money, you want to buy the best phone available. For Android, it's definitely the Pixel XL. At 5.5 inches, it packs a Quad HD display, a Snapdragon 821 processor with 4 GB of RAM in tow. This phone flies through everything and is also running the latest version too, Android Nougat. But what really caught my attention was the camera. The 12.3 megapixel on paper doesn't seem that amazing, but it is amazing. It's the first camera from Google that actually competes with the well-established cameras from Samsung and Apple. This phone also got me some of the best 4K footage outside the V20, despite the absence of optical image stabilization. And an 8 megapixel selfie camera captures really detail and presents a more natural look. On the iOS front, there really isn't an option for budget smartphones, but the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus is the best if you're going to get something and pay premium. Running iOS 10, the Apple's A10 Fusion chip, and 2 to 3 GB of RAM depending on your variant, makes the devices the fastest around. At either 4.7 or 5.5 inches, the Retina display has a very wide color gamut, and combining that with stereo speakers makes for a great multimedia experience. While the 7's camera at 12 megapixel is great, the real star is the 7 Plus's dual camera system, which manages to take some good pictures with impressive shallow depth of field and of course 4K video with optical image stabilization. Wow. You know what, guys? I've been reviewing phones for a very long time. And when you're looking at iOS, you're looking at Android, they were so far apart before, and now they're like this, like they're really close to each other. It seems like Apple is actually opening up their platform a little bit more, while Google seems to be reining in a little bit and closing it down. So it's really interesting to see how these two companies are really becoming so close to each other. Now, when it comes to hardware, obviously Apple's spec-wise to dollar, it seems like that I guess that pendulum is off, if you will, when you compare to Android for what you get for what you're paying. But when you look at raw performance, when you're actually using the device, an iPhone still is one of the best devices as far as how it runs and how it functions and how it interacts with the applications. But Android is actually really close now. Android is right there now. And with the Pixel XL, what you're really seeing is Google really reining things in and putting hardware and software in the same house. And they did an amazing job with it. And that's why it actually won my phone of the year for 2016 as well. Sorry about the rambling. I really wanted to share my opinion on this topic as far as what phones to buy and why I picked each one for each category. The great thing about Android is that you don't have to have a premium budget to get a phone. I bought plenty of phones for my family members, and they were $100 phones, $200 phones, depending on the person's need, depending on what was important to them. I was able to snag a great phone. Anyways, guys, if you're still watching to the end of this video, you are amazing. And I want you to leave a comment down below. I want you to say, I am special. If you're watching this video right now, I am talking a lot. Anyways, I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja. Hit the links down below, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, and leave that comment. Family reunion, I went to it. This was like a 6-year-old shirt. Thug Life, 2017. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
KTTN, say it again. Tell a friend that it's him again. Yo, real talk, opinions gonna be sharper than 4K. Scope squad, eat it up, simmer it, saute. Ninja got reviews and brands galore. You ain't never seen a channel like this before. No hashtag crispy around this runway. Utter out your mouth that you started with gunplay.